Hi guys, Chef Kevin Belton here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, guess what today is? Chocolate and almond day. That's right. So you know what I'm going to make? Toffee. Now there's all types of different toffees, and this recipe I'm going to show you is one that is nice and simple and basic, and you can do this at home. Now, what I've started with in my pan, I've lined my pan with parchment paper. You can use foil. If you use foil paper, give it a little spray, okay, with a little vegetable spray. So I've just lined the crackers up. You know, I've had to cut some of them so they fit all in the pan. I had about 15 sheets that I used totally. Okay, now I'm using the regular graham crackers. You could use a honey graham cracker. You could use the chocolate graham crackers if you like chocolate. Okay, so what I have here on the fire melting, I have a cup of butter. Okay, now I'm also have a cup of packed light brown sugar. Now, when you see them talk about in a recipe packed sugar, this is important, especially with brown sugar, because it's about the measurement. So when you're taking that measuring cup, make sure, don't just put the sugar in it and level it off like you do with flour. With brown sugar, you want to pack it down in there. That's what it means when the directions say packed brown sugar, because if you just sprinkle it in, you're not going to get enough and the recipe is going to come up short. So that's why it has this lovely shape to it, because it was packed in. Now I'm using a light brown sugar. If you like, you could use a dark brown sugar, but I find the light brown sugar is fine. Now, I'm just gonna break this up. You notice I have the fire kind of a medium high, because I want this to come up to a boil, okay? Now, notice the oven is preheating 350 degrees. Because we need this to start boiling, and we want this to simmer for about 4 minutes. And once it simmers for 4 minutes, we're going to pour it all over the top of our graham crackers. So this is just where you need just a little bit of patience, but I tell you what, it is so well worth it. So we're going to get this to a boil and let it simmer for 4 minutes. Wow, look at that, gang. Now, I said it had to boil. Now, this is naturally going to come up to a boil, but look at my temperature, okay? I'm on 4, all right? We don't want this on high. We don't want this to boil really hard. So turn that fire down to a simmer, but look, it'll still keep boiling even at that simmer. So make sure you don't do it on a high fire, because we don't need it to boil really hard. Now, we can go ahead and turn the fire off. You can see how this has come together. Now, I want to make sure, I'm going to start at one end and just try to pour it all over. And just spread this out. And you know, always be careful when you're dealing with something hot like this. Hot sugar, it's a very serious and very bad burn. Oh, look at a couple of pieces flipped over there. Get down, come on. Get here. Just take your time trying to spread this out. You know, my piece is on the edge here. I'm not getting as well, but you know what? Hey, that's okay. That's all right. It's going to eat good no matter what. Okay. Now that we have this pretty much all done, now we want to go ahead and get this in the oven. We want to bake this in the oven 350 degrees for 8 minutes. So after we bake this in the oven for the 8 minutes, we'll take it out and I'll show you how we get our chocolate into it. It's time. I tell you what, this is another one of those dishes that just makes the whole house smell. Oh, look at this. Now remember, we were worried about it spreading out. We were trying to spread it out. it was in the oven just long enough to spread out itself. Now, let's take our chocolate chips, sprinkle them. You know, we really don't have to wait long for these to melt because they're going to pretty much melt right away. Now, I'm using a milk chocolate chip. You can do a semi-sweet. You can use any type of chocolate chips you may have. The minis will work great because they'll also melt pretty quick. But that's why you want to put these on while they're hot so it can melt, because all we want to do is now, once these start to melt, smear them to create the nice chocolate layer. You can see how much they're pretty much melting right away. Let me just get the mitt so I can hold on to the pan. See how quick they're melting? Just want to try to get that spread out all over so we have chocolate all over the top. Tell you what, this is just one of those dishes that's just so good. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Here, let's take our spatula and try to wipe some of that off. That didn't work too good. We'll let this cool. So now our almonds. Now I've taken sliced almonds and I've just crumbled them up. And you can just sprinkle this on. Now I'm using almonds. If you don't have any almonds, you know it's chocolate and almond day. That's why I'm using almonds. But you can also do this with pecans if you like. You know, most of us down here always keep some pecans around. All right, get that in. Now, the whole trick now is to be patient and let this cool. Now, some folks like to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. If you put it in the refrigerator, it cools much, much faster, but we want to totally let this cool so then we can break it up. Yes, because it's going to be so good. Now that this is cooled, look how easy this is to just break up. Just break it up. I'm just sitting it here on the plate. How big or little you want to break it up, totally up to you. You can see why I put down the parchment paper, because that way it doesn't stick. But look how easy this just breaks. And you can break it big pieces, little pieces, whatever pieces that you like. So how about this for making a nice, simple, easy, fairly quick homemade toffee to celebrate chocolate and almonds. All right. Thank you so much for cooking with me today. Keep washing those hands. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. For WWLTV, I'm Chef Kevin Belton, and see you soon.